Ministry of Defence Guard Service. Now, this man is now in his 70s. He's just a retired washing machine repairer, living on his own in a small apartment, and he gets a phone call from the Ministry of Defence Police at 9 o'clock in the morning, warning him not to talk about an incident that he was involved in 40 years previously. Unfortunately, we were able to verify the incoming details of this telephone call to confirm that he did receive it. And so this kind of begs the question, what kind of incident could be of paramount importance to the British Ministry of Defence that 40 years after it occurred, someone is still keeping watch on the people who are involved in the case, to the extent that they're being told not to talk to civilian UFO researchers. And the fact that we arranged the interview by telephone, then that sort of brings up all sort of other scenarios about telephone monitoring operations to keep this story under wraps. And as sceptical as I was when I first got into the subject, even for me now, you know, I've had events and occurrences like this happen so many times that, you know, I believe there is a concerted effort on the part of a covert organisation buried incredibly well within the intelligence community to keep watch on the more sensitive and sensational aspects of the UFO subject.
I think there really was a crash there. I think that Scott has gathered a lot of witnesses. I think we've got more to find. And of course, we're racing the Undertaker and losing the race most of the time. Several important witnesses have died within the past year. I personally think that New Mexico would have been a prime target for any alien visitors. I mean, I make one assumption about all civilizations out there, as well as here for that matter, that they're concerned about their own survival and security. That seems to be a natural part of the development of any advanced civilization. Okay, that being the case, you have to keep tabs on the primitives in the neighborhood. But only close tabs, frequent visitations, detailed investigations, when they show signs of being able to bother you. At the end of World War II, there were 3 signs that soon these idiot earthlings, this primitive society whose major activity is tribal warfare, we don't look far to see that it's still that way, you don't need to look far for that, would be moving out, soon meaning 100 years, which on a cosmic timescale is nothing. The 3 signs were clearly nuclear weapons. You measure the radiation in the atmosphere, it's easy to find. V-2 rockets, which obviously weren't being used to carry mail back and forth between Germany and England, and powerful electronics, radar systems in particular, which suddenly appeared on this planet. It used to be AM radio, which sticks around the planet, and now suddenly you've got radar beams that go outside. We're obviously moving along with development of electronic systems. I don't think it's any coincidence at all that the only place on the planet where you could check out all 3 of these technologies in 1947 and 48 was southeastern New Mexico. That's where the first atom bomb was tested, Trinity site on Alamogordo Army Airfield, White Sands Proving Ground if you want to call it that. The V-2 rockets were all being tested there that we had captured from the Germans, and we were modifying some to go up much higher and things like that. And that's where we had our best radar, to track the rockets, which sometimes went south instead of north, even though they were supposed to go north. I would be flabbergasted if aliens weren't checking out the place.
So, New Mexico would have been a natural place for aliens to visit. But Roswell and AZTEC remain controversial at best. Is there a related UFO incident that even the skeptics can accept as real? As it happens, there is, and it occurred just a few miles from AZTEC in Farmington, New Mexico.
The Farmington Armada case is a classic in ufology. In March of 1950, a large number of people in Farmington, New Mexico, which at that time was a lot smaller than it is now, I mean dramatically smaller. I think now it's about 30,000. We're dealing in those days with maybe 3,000 people, if that. In any case, what they saw were literally hundreds of objects circling in the sky and zooming back and forth in formation, and most people describing them as being shaped like dinner plates, classic flying saucers, including one that was bright red. All the others were silvery. And the bright red one is interesting particularly because as it led a group of these saucers away from Farmington, off to the southeast, roughly, almost, actually more due east, but just a little south of that. A few minutes later, before any of this could hit the news wires or be on the radio anywhere, in Las Vegas, New Mexico, a group of postal workers were outside taking a break or something and looked up and saw a group of saucers whizzing over, and one of them was bright red. I think these people actually did see, indeed, who knows, was this a rendezvous point? Were they all dropping down from the mothership and then heading out to the 4 points of the compass, or what they were doing? I don't know. But I think they really did see something quite real.
The Farmington Armada, which involved lots of people seeing lots of stuff up there, lots of vehicles, if you will. Half the town, I guess, saw these things. Dr. James E. McDonald did a detailed investigation, found loads of people who'd seen things. Maybe that was the gathering place. I don't know. Four Corners area there? Who knows why they were there? I mean, who knows why people picnic in a certain area? I don't know. And it may be a staging area. Okay, you guys check out the nuclear weapon sites over there. And remember, pretty soon we were building testing nuclear weapons in Nevada, which is the other way from Farmington toward Roswell in the other direction. They had a great gathering laying out their plans for further reconnaissance.
And it was taken seriously by the Farmington Daily Times, as you can see by this headline, which ran on Saturday, March 18th of 1950, Huge Saucer Armada Jolts Farmington. There were several witnesses to the event, and Lincoln O'Brien, the publisher of the paper, actually sent a telegram by Western Union to Ken Purdy of the True magazine. Whole City, Farmington, New Mexico, where we own daily, sees large forest flying saucers. Airmailing you full reports. Story terrific, not fully developed. If you want to send man to Farmington, we will assist him in every way. So it was taken seriously at that time, and I think that was probably because there had been so many connections to UFOs in the late 1940s and early 1950s. And there are some people who believe that this saucer armada was actually connected to the crash at Roswell and at AZTEC. We had the crash at Roswell in 47, the crash in AZTEC in 48, and then the flyover in 1950. And several people believe that the saucers flew over in formation as a salute to their fallen comrades, because it did happen in March, the same month that the AZTEC crash was reported to have happened.
So, crash site here, we've already been up there. Saucers came in which direction allegedly?
Story says from that direction, over Bloomfield, Blanco, and right through this tree line right here where all the trees are damaged and twisted. Came to rest right in here.
Down in here.
So there it is, the AZTEC UFO incident, the first of the crashed flying saucer tales. But is it a fraud perpetrated by a couple of clever con men on an unwitting journalist? Or is it part of the greatest of all government conspiracies? The truth, as so often seems to be the case in the UFO field, remains a mystery. It is up to you to judge the evidence. I'll give the final word, however, to Scott Ramsey, the man most responsible for bringing that evidence to light once again.
In concluding with the AZTEC incident, you have to look at, I think we certainly have, look at the original story, look at what the skeptics have to say, take the original information that Skelly published in 1950, which we've done, and then digest it from there. And I think we've proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that somebody with incredibly good insider information was telling Frank Skelly's story. We've got a lot more research to do on the AZTEC incident, there's no doubt. If our research shows that AZTEC was a tall story that got out of control, we'll be the first ones to come forward and say that. But until then, it's an open case, it's an open mystery, and we're going to keep going on it.